Hi, good morning, and welcome to all the schools which are joining us for our Frog Connected Classroom session, SPM series. Today we'll be talking about diet and well-being, and I have with me today is Miss Gui Shir Ley from the Ministry of Health, and also Kathy and Ariel, students in the Nutrition Department from Canada. So please mute your mic throughout the session until your schools are called upon during the question and answer session. So you can send us your questions through the event page or through our Google Hangout, and also to the viewers out there, you can also submit a question through our Q&A app on the left of your screen, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we will also appreciate very much if you can send us your feedback and suggestions through the link bit.ly/FCC reflection, capital F, capital C, capital C. And yeah, so today we have Miss Gui Shir Ley and also Kathy and Ariel again. So Miss Gui Shir Ley is from the Ministry of Health with 10 years of experience, and she has been giving educational talks to about 100 schools in Malaysia actually. So what about Kathy and Ariel? Would you like to also introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Kathy, and I'm a dietitian student in Canada. I've been studying nutrition for the past 5 years, and the reason I love nutrition is because I want to help people lead healthier lives by eating better and healthier food. Yeah, and I was originally born in China, and I moved to Canada when I was 10, so I'm a little bit familiar with Chinese culture. Yeah, on to Ariel.
Hi, my name is Ariel. Apa khabar? I am from Malaysia. I have been in Vancouver since 2 years ago. Yeah, and I am currently a nutritional sciences student at University of British Columbia. I attended primary school in Malaysia, and I went to Singapore for my secondary school education. Yeah, it's my first time having this session, so I'm very excited and nice to meet you guys.
All right. Thank you very much. So to schools that are joining us, we will open the floor for question and answer. So if you would like to submit us a question, so to the participants in this video call, you can identify your schools in the group chat. So sila perkenalkan nama sekolah anda dalam group chat sekiranya anda ada soalan untuk tetamu kita hari ini. And to our viewers out there, you can use the submit a question button, the Q&A app, or even post us a question on the event page, and we will try to answer your questions too. Okay, so talking about diet and well-being for SPM, very important actually. Just the first question I would like to ask to Kathy and Ariel is, does nutrition affect the exam result? How, and then what is actually a healthy diet before and during the exam period, if you would like to share?
Sure, I take that question. So yes, nutrition absolutely affects how your brain functions and how your body functions. So when we're studying for exams, we want both to be at our best, and having nutrition allows us to be physically well as mentally well. A healthy diet, according to the Malaysian Food Pyramid, contains a lot of carbohydrates, vegetables, fat, protein, and we want to try to limit the amount of foods that are high in fat, sugar, and salt, because these foods can help us feel less good about ourselves and having a little bit lower energy for things like studying. So what I find is that when I eat a large meal, I tend to get sleepy afterwards and I don't really want to do anything. So during exam times, I try to eat a moderate amount during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and have snacks when I feel hungry, so then I can keep on studying.
I see. So very important thing to take care of other than doing revision. And Miss Shirley here also have a few examples of food that you can have during your exam period. All right.
Okay, hello everyone. As we know, eating a variety of food is important for all, not just for students or sit for exams or non-exams period, but it has to start very early in our life, eating healthily, so it can become our habit. So there's no need to change our habit during or before the exam because it may not go well with what we have planned. So for here, I have some samples of food that what you should be eating and the portion size that you can take every meal. So we can start with like breakfast. Okay, usually I think this is what people eat in Malaysia. Okay, students. Bread, yeah, roti. Uh, Usually we'll take 2 pieces of bread, preferable wholemeal if you can get it, or whole grain. But if not, white bread will do just fine if you are comfortable with that. And you can have it with your favorite peanut butter or jam, but we do not recommend that like daily because it's high in sugar and not much of other nutrients. So you can combine the bread with like big beans. Yep. So one portion of big bean is roughly palm size. You can see. Okay.
So big means the kacang inside the tin is fine.
Yes.
Okay,
You
right.
can choose the less salt version or less sweet, less sugar version as well.
Alright.
And then as for fruits, you must have fruits and vegetables in your daily meal as well. So you can choose to have when you're having lunch, you can have like white rice, yeah, with a portion of fish and a good portion of vegetables. And do not forget your fruits as well. Okay. So one portion of fruits, like watermelon, is about the size of this. Then you may have your dinner. So for dinner, you can choose to have the same nasi meal, nasi campur, or you can have maybe chicken rice for a change. So you see, when we have chicken rice set, ya, set nasi ayam, selalunya kita ada timun, salad dengan tomato, dan ini selalunya dibuang. So it's better to eat all of this as well, included the cucumber, the little salad that you have, and the tomatoes as well. Okay, choose for skinless chicken because you have less fat in the chicken then, so it's better for your health as well.
Alright, so dengar tu adik-adik, so sila makan timun, tomato, sayur-sayur kat tepi, bukan saja ambil daging ayam. Alright, so moving on. So I think a lot of students would like to know, I would like to know as well, are there any certain diet or certain food that would improve the memory, will help boost your memory, especially during exam, banyak benda nak ingat kan. So are there any things to eat? So I know masa kat sekolah, cikgu asked me to eat a lot of raisins, kismis, nuts, and then some people will suggest like chicken essence, hati ayam,
Okay.
Is it true?
Okay, as for evidence base for chicken essence, there are a lot popping up, but we rarely make our own chicken essence, and the product you can get from outside those products, we do not say you must take or must not take because not everyone can afford those things, but because the key thing is to eat in balance. So if you eat everything in moderation, you get all the nutrients you need. As for raisin and nuts, I think the science behind it will be like raisins is they have iron which help in red blood cell formation that will bring oxygen levels to our body and the nutrients to all. And then nuts, they have the omega-3 fatty acid which is important for the linkage of neurotransmitter and all that. So maybe that's why they connect those things with memory and all. But actually, I think a lot of revision that will improve the memory most of all. There's no like magic food or pill that will help in that.
Alright, okay. So yeah, maybe even earlier, I don't know. Does it? When I say nuts,
No, I can't say any because evidence does not really 100% supports that. Yeah.
so I guess take everything in moderation. Terlalu banyak pun tak bagus lah.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, then I'm directing this back to Kathy and Ariel. Sugar. How much sugar can I take? So during revision and also during exam period. I know like mengantuk means I'll like makan gula-gula. Okay, is that okay? Sweets, topping sweets.
Well, I'll answer this question. During exam period, it might be very tempting to have snacks along during your revision, during your study time. But at the same time, you have to know that excessive amount of sugar can be detrimental to you, and because of reasons such as cavities and also having sugar spikes that are short period.
Yeah, so you feel
Yeah.
really, you feel more energy for a shorter period of
Yeah.
time, for say an hour or two afterwards, but then you kind of lose energy after that. So that's something that we don't want to happen.
Yeah, so it's okay to have a few sweets. What I usually do is to maybe take a small portion that I think I should eat only that much and put it in front of me, and the others, the whole can of sweets, I'll put them away out of my reach. or ask someone to take care of it for me and not let me take it, so that I will be only taking that amount during my study time. Yeah, and it also applies for other snacks too, such as like potato chips or like chocolate and other snacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my answer for that question.
All right. So, do you have anything to add on to that, Sweets?
Okay. Adik tahu kan kalau makan gula-gula tu dia ialah simple carbohydrate. Jadi dia akan meningkatkan attention, tapi very short attention span because the spike in sugar will go up, they will come down very fast. So maybe you can, if you need to snack, maybe we always say to snack healthily, just like maybe a handful of nuts, like walnut, pistachios, or maybe just peanuts, or like kacang dal, kacang kuda yang beli dekat uh, uncle yang jual kacang putih tu, tapi sikit lah in moderation. Or maybe you can snack on fruits lah, macam pisang or apple, those really easy to eat fruits and all that.
All right. Yeah. Not too much potato chips, okay? All right.
Also, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we can find alternative way to keep yourself awake, such as doing some stretching exercises or listening to music and take like short study breaks. That might help.
Yeah, short study breaks. That's what Dr. Shukri mentioned as well during our motivational talk last week. Yeah, study as much as you can, but then take short breaks in between as well. So just to keep your energy up. And moving on, coffee. A very common question. How much coffee can I take, especially during revision? Mengantuk, how?
Okay, actually, according to our Malaysian dietary guideline, we do not recommend intake of coffee or tea for students or teenagers because the caffeine and the tannin in the coffee and tea, it will reduce the absorption of iron, which is an important nutrient in the body. So when it reduces the absorption, macam dah lah tak makan banyak makanan yang mengandungi zat besi, then reduce absorption lagi, jadi is lesser the nutrient that we get. So we do not recommend the intake of caffeine or tannin, coffee or tea during any time of the day actually. But there's always a but.
Okay.
But if you do need to take, or for students that already been taking, it's best to keep it at 2 cups per day. So yes, if you would like to take, keep it 2 cups per day, then drink a lot of water because coffee or tea tend to dehydrate the person as well. So you may tend to go more frequent to the bathroom and also, which is not really recommended during the exam time. You may not get very comfortable.
I see, alright. So yeah, coffee may not really help you get awake, and then it's not really encouraged as well. So might as well just try snacking on nuts and fruits, like Ariel mentioned as well. Okay, so moving on. What about a breakfast of banana and milk? Do you suggest that for breakfast, Kathy, let's say? Or is there any other suggested breakfast for, especially during exam day, like in the morning?
Yes. So what I like about having milk and banana for breakfast is that you get a good amount of protein from milk. So that will help keep you full for a longer period of time. And banana gives you energy from the sugar, and it also has a little bit of fiber to help keep you fuller for longer. What I would suggest is maybe adding something that has a little bit more starch to it. For example, whole grain bread, whole wheat bread, or perhaps chapati to help you, to again, just give you a little bit more energy in the morning. Because if you think about it, breakfast is like a third of your meal, right? So that's a pretty good chunk of your energy. Adding foods such as hard-boiled eggs will give you more protein, so that's a good option as well. Or if you're pressed for time, you could try to make a smoothie the night before and add some peanut butter in there, milk, fruit, and then just have that smoothie go.
So like Shirley showed just now, is it?
Pardon?
Like what Miss Shirley showed just now with the bread and the peanut butter?
Yeah.
Exactly, yes, like that would be a good addition to, say, the banana and the milk.
Okay.
And to add on, we are aware that some of the individuals might be lactose intolerant, meaning that if you drink dairy product, take dairy product, you might get like diarrhea or stomach problems. So for these individuals, if you are aware that you are lactose intolerant or you react to dairy product, you might not want to drink it especially during exam day, and have other alternative instead, like such as having soy milk or having like eggs, hard-boiled egg for the protein source. Yeah.
So combining starch and bananas, then I'll make banana pancake as well. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
All right. So yeah, what about vitamin pills or supplements? You know, some people will be like, I don't know, vitamin E, vitamin C during exam. So will that help me as well?
Just like as I say in the beginning, you must eat everything in moderation. So if you eat all, you do not exclude any fruit from your diet, then you shouldn't need any supplements or vitamin pills. Because vitamin pills and supplements are actually for those that are sick or for those that are in special condition, like during pregnancy or elderly person and all that. Unless you visit a nutritionist or a medical doctor that prescribe you with this vitamin C or supplements, then you may take under the prescription. If not, we do not need all these supplements or vitamin pills as well.
Ah, I see. Alright. So it's not like okay, 1 bulan sebelum exam and then I makan vitamin C, it'll help.
No.
No such thing, ah?
No such.
Okay, alright. So yeah, we have a question from a viewer. So does changing diet before exam really help? So sebelum ni I always like, you know, blastas je lah makan everything also I'll eat. But now 1 month before exam I want to change my diet. So is it too late? Can I still save myself? Yeah. Kathy,
Um, Sure, so I'll take a stab at it first, and then feel free to add on, Ariel and Shirley, if you have anything to add. So I feel like now is a perfect time to start. And what's important is that once you start, that you sustain this change, because then you'll be able to see a difference for the rest of your life, right? And that's what's really important. And I think changing your diet for the short term, you may notice like you might feel more energetic or have just feel better about yourself. Um, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I think it would make you make a difference in terms of how well you feel, and I think other things that could make a difference as well include maybe getting sufficient sleep and trying to get like at least half an hour of exercise a day, and that will really go a long way to help you feel physically and mentally more prepared for the exam.
That's a very good advice. But I would say that if you find that changing a diet might bring you too much stress, like additional stress on top of having the exam, you might not want to do like a drastic change in diet. Just do moderately. Yeah. Like simple things such as having nuts, having more fruits than usual. If you feel that you are not having enough of them, yeah.
True. Totally like Ariel and Kathy mentioned just now, you shouldn't change your diet just because you suddenly because of exam you wanted a healthier diet. Yes, you have to start at some point, but you have to be slower. You know, you may try to take more fruits and vegetables at first. You do not totally
slowly lah.
change 180-degree change because it might not work for your body. And like Ariel just said, you may feel more stressful into keeping to that diet. For example, maybe you wanted to add more fruits. You may choose fruits that you easily available and you can get access to. Not choosing some, you know, exotic fruit. Probably, I'm not sure. Maybe like strawberry. You like to eat strawberry. You suddenly want to have, oh, I must have daily strawberry before a month before the exam. Then what if you can't get? You get stressful and all that. So try to be more flexible in your diet, and yeah, I think that will help much more in the environment of stress for the exam as well.
So you can try to add in slowly lah. So all these
Yes.
healthy things, but not a drastic. Jangan tiba-tiba tukar your
Yes,
diet
yes.
lah. It might not be good for your stomach.
Yes.
So just keep it. So can if you're comfortable with it, then do it lah.
Yeah.
Slowly lah. Okay, right. So yeah. Moving on. What can I eat or do, especially when I'm stressed? Is there anything? Exercises perhaps when I feel stressed or like anxious, very berdebar, like tomorrow exam. So, is there anything that I can do to help myself, my body?
Usually with stress or anxiety and all that, with not much food can help with that. A lot of people tend to, you know, munch. If they are stressful or they feel anxiety and all that, they'll munch usually on chocolates or sweets and all that. But if that actually doesn't really work, it may give you a lot of like I said just now, the sugar, but it may not really stress or the anxiety. I think the best option will be to like to do light exercises or stretching, deep breathing and all that to control your this one. better than to just munch on anything you can get on.
Right. So, Kathy and Ariel, like moving on about same question also, like, is there any stretches or exercises that you would like to encourage uh, to help this stress relief?
Yeah, so we could actually demonstrate a stretch that my teacher used to do with us at the beginning of each class because she said it helps us, relax and get ready for studying. So this is what we used to do. So I would encourage the students to stand up and join us if you would like to and if you have the opportunity to. So first we stand up and then we put our arms up over our heads and we turn our wrists, make little circles with our wrists, and then with your arms, with your shoulders, and then with your entire upper body and your legs. You're making big circles with your entire body. Perfect. And then we could do some high knees, raise your knees up, and try to march in place. It's a great exercise to get your heart rate going. Um, and then finally, because when we're studying, we tend to stretch our necks out a lot. So let's do a few neck stretches so we can turn our head to one side and then to the other. And then just make small circles back and forth with our necks. Ah, that feels quite good, doesn't it? So that's our, I guess, like minute long stretch break. So hopefully that will inspire you to come up with your own routine or use some of the moves that we use to kind of, yeah, get you refreshed for studying.
Or you can always dance to your favorite music.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't get
Yep.
too distracted. Yeah.
Right, running, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, so to the audiences and also to the schools joining the session. So if you have a question, you can, to schools in the video call, you can identify your school name in the chat box so that we will be able to call upon your school. And to the audiences out there, if you have any question, you can use the Q&A, submit the question button, or you can also post your question on our event page. And once we pick the question, we will try to answer that as well. So there is a question from an audience. So I'm following a diet for weight loss, like now dieting. So should I stop it first for exam?
Okay. I think first you must access your weight loss diet. Is it a healthy, balanced diet? Because for weight loss, it's just a calorie reduction. So if you have been following, let's say, a 3,000 kilocalorie diet for all this while, and you want to go for weight loss, even reducing 500 calories per day, you will get that weight loss. So you must assess first your diet. Is it a healthy one? Does it have all the components you needed, like like from the grain and whole grain, like rice and breads and all that? Do you have fruits and vegetables in there? Do you have fish, chicken, poultry, eggs, nuts, legume, and all that? Do you have milk and all that? So if it yes, that is not a problem to follow that during the exam period as well. But if it lack any one of those component that I mentioned just now, then it is not a very balanced weight loss diet. Then you should rectify that immediately.
All right, so just adjust a bit lah. Like
Yes.
just now also you mentioned. So if you need to adjust your diet, so just adjust slowly. lah.
Yes.
All right. So back to Kathy and Ariel. What is a healthy study schedule? Is it okay for me to wake up at 3 a.m. to study or study until 3 a.m.? Yeah.
I can take that question because I used to study till very late night before.
All right.
I do find that it's a very unhealthy plan for me. It might vary between individuals. Some people might find it helpful to study at night instead of in the day. But for me, I find that if I study till late night, I'm not that energetic the day after. I couldn't focus and it will affect me for the next few days. So it's not very helpful. So before you start planning, you have to be aware of your own sleeping and study pattern, know what's the best time to study for you, and like Shirley said just now, it's important to have 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day. I would say 7 to 8 because I think that's the usual advisable sleeping hours. And yeah, adjust your schedule. There's no like a fixed schedule that it's recommended, but I would say that make sure that you have enough sleep and plan ahead of time, and make sure that you will finish studying way before the exam and not rush through the last minute. Yeah.
I would also add on to that and just say that studying up until very late will make you very tired the day after. And also, it's very hard to change your sleeping schedule from going to sleep at 3 a.m. and waking up at noon to one, say, if you have an exam at 8 a.m. the next morning and you need to get up at 6 a.m. to get to school. So I think that would be a very hard change. So I would advise students to study according to also when their exams will be, so then your sleeping schedule can be on track, so then you'll be awake and alert for those exams that you need to take. If you are trying to change your sleeping schedule, I think the best way to do so is to do it slowly. So try to change it by 15 minutes at a time, so that way your body has time to adjust.
Okay, alright. So as I think the same thing as diet as well. So you want to adjust your sleeping schedule, you have to like do it slowly. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Try to avoid the lack of sleep lah. So then moving on about sleeping as well. So afternoon naps. They say the afternoon naps are like power naps. So
Yes.
is it true? Do you encourage power naps for revision time? Exam period?
True, because my personal experience when I take my XPM from such a long time ago, you know, at the first signs of tiredness, when I feel tired, feel like to sleep, I'll just close my book and take 30-minute naps. Because there's no point going through the pages again and again, but what you're reading still the first sentence. I'm sure that happens with most of the students as well.
Happens to me too.
Try
Okay.
you try to keep your eyes open, but your mind's not working anymore. So might as well take a break. It's either an afternoon nap, or you can walk around the house, prepare something else, and then just come back to the revision later on. Because if you can get a full concentration on what you are studying, then there's no point wasting that time.
I see. Alright. So yeah, afternoon nap can be good. So just sleep whenever you eat lah. Yeah, Ariel, you have something to add on?
Yes, because I actually had a lot of friends who wanted to take power naps and ended up taking like 8 hours of sleep instead. So what you want to do is to like set alarm and make sure that you won't snooze or like turn off the alarm and continue sleeping, or make sure that there's someone to ensure that you wake up and continue studying.
Yeah, so you really have to keep to your timing. So power nap is not 2 jam, it's actually like 20 minute lah.
Yes.
Right, yeah. So one trick, keep your alarm far away from you so that you have to wake up and walk to switch it off. Alright, so we have a question from the audience. Pondok Upe?
Okay. Now, good morning. Good morning. My name is Anand Bari from SNK Pondok. I'm asking, does chocolate have any effect on my studies? Louder, louder. Again, louder, louder. Does chocolate have any effect on my studies?
Chocolate. Does chocolate have any effect on my studies?
Oh, okay. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I think everyone loves chocolates.
Yeah.
But the good ones are actually more than 70% of cocoa, which we call it dark chocolate.
Oh, dark
So
chocolate.
if you buy those like Jan we call it, anywhere else like 20 cents or low quality chocolate, all it contains are actually just sugars.
Oh.
So that doesn't really help. Or no, it doesn't really help or do anything. It's just like, not good for the diet.
So, but dark chocolate is okay.
Yes, but talking about dark chocolate, we only say you can take, but one small square, not the whole bar.
One
Like-
day, one small square.
Yes, but
Okay.
not daily. Maybe 2 or 3 times per week, like that. Because
Ah.
although it's still it's good quality chocolate and all, but it still contains sugar. Because it's without the sugar, you can't really take quite bitter,
Yeah.
unless you can take 100% dark. But I don't think there's 100% dark chocolate.
And another thing to keep in mind with chocolate as well is that it does have some caffeine in it. It's not as much as, say, a cup of coffee, but there is some. So, yeah, that's just something to
I
keep in
think-
mind.
I was reading up on Google today, and it says that one bar is like 30 mg. So it's like 1/3 of a cup of coffee. So keep in mind if you're already drinking coffee and you're taking a lot of dark chocolate, you might not be advised. acceptable. Yeah.
So still boleh makan lah, boleh makan, but a bit lah.
Okay.
So like 2-3 times a week, and then like one small square a
Yes,
day.
yes.
Kind of okay, okay. Alright, good. Then so tak payah skip chocolate. You can still have it, but secara sederhana. So I think Pondok Upik still have another question.
Okay, now ask it.
What is the food that increases our concentration?
Ooh.
Concentration.
Very good question.
The sour stuff.
Okay.
The sour stuff help like relate like whoa.
Uh, no, actually,
Okay.
if you are sleepy and all that, drinking a glass of water or milk can help. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
as easy as that. But if you say food that really help concentration and all that in the long run, it's still the same statement that I'm going to make is eating everything in moderation. That will give you good combination of nutrients that will help in boosting your energy level, your iron, and then your vitamin B, which help in energy transfer and all that. That all those combination will help in better concentration.
Alright. So is there anything you want to add on for Kathy and Ariel as well?
I think again we can not rely on food only to improve our concentration. We can do like exercises and other ways to help ourselves concentrate. And one more thing is sometimes I will do some inner talking to myself, so I'll motivate myself and talk to myself to concentrate. Yeah.
Alright, okay, cool. So yeah, I hope that helps SMK for the OP. So there's like I think Shirley mentioned before, there's no magical food, but a combination of everything. So you have to like campur everything sederhana, and then add on with some exercises. Yeah, that will help. So up next we have SMK Raja Abdullah. SMK Raja Abdullah, you have a question for our guest speakers? Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Yes, hi.
What type of biscuit can I eat?
I love to.
I love to eat biscuits.
Oh, biscuits? Oh, okay. Alright. So yeah.
As for biscuit, you can eat all the types, but beware of those that are high in sugars. Like those with cream, or then with sugar on top and icing and all that. Those you have to beware. But you have to be careful because one serving of biscuit is actually 6 pieces of low fat and low sodium type of biscuits. Those square, we call it cream crackers, but those with less minyak and all that. Yes.
Okay. So like Oreo, all those is okay like Oreo,
Uh,
sweet.
yes, quite
So
sweet.
you have to be like
Be careful, yes, yes.
Oreo,
Yes.
all those like with cream.
On
Okay.
top
Right.
and all that. Yes.
So what about like the biscuit like you dip in sugar Milo?
That like we recommend like every time you eat those square biscuits or like whole meal or whole wheat biscuit, you can take 6 pieces of those.
Senang kuping.
Yes, sekali makan 6.
Okay, right. Alright. So I hope that answers your question. Do you have another question for the speaker as well? SMK Raja Abdullah. Hi.
No.
No more question. Right. So ingat ya. So 6 pieces of biscuits. 6 keping. Alright, about that. And be careful, berhati-hati dengan all those with sugar, Oreo yang ada cream kat tengah, the sweetness. That one you have to be like, you have to be careful lah.
Yes.
Alright, so while waiting for, okay, so moving on. What about taking a lot of carbs to boost my energy? Kathy and Ariel, there are people who says that okay you should eat a lot of like pasta, bread, all those are very high energy. So I just eat a bit, but then I can last like a whole day. Is that true?
So what happens when you eat a lot of carbohydrates, especially like white bread or white rice, we tend to get we feel full and we feel like we have a lot of energy right after, but we don't feel full for very long. So that's why it's important to have a variety of food in your meals. So for example, in addition to white rice, you might add some vegetables, which will give you fiber, which will help you stay full for longer. protein from tofu or lentils or eggs or meat or seafood will do the same. It'll help you stay full for longer. And same with foods containing fat. So fat in moderation is good for you, and it will also help you stay full for longer. So make sure you get a variety of everything. And so taking a lot of carbs to boost your energy doesn't really hold true, unfortunately.
So back to Miss Shirley as well. I know sometimes I will have that too. So right before exam, you'll feel nauseous, rasa macam nak muntah, and then rasa like cirit-birit, sakit perut, everything right before exam. So what do I do? How can I adjust?
Actually, that you can try calm yourself with the breathing technique for relaxation and all that. Because for food, it doesn't really, because that's just the, I'm sure that's just the jittery or anxiety you have right before exams. So if you feel comfortable with we call some, or like eye limau and all that, you can have a little bit of those. But do not take so much until it make you uncomfortable, because you will sit for the exam right after.
Yeah. We have another question as well from Asante Raja Abdullah again. Ramen, mi segera, Maggi mee. Should I avoid that? Kathy and Ariel, what do you think? Instant noodles.
Well, I wouldn't say that you should totally not eat if you, well, you can still eat, but in moderation. Like you don't eat as much because most of the instant noodles they are fried, so they are very very unhealthy. And what I usually do when I'm having instant noodles is that I add in some other vegetables and tofu to improve the nutrition quality of my meal. So yeah, that's my recommendation for that. But try not to eat every day. I would say like maybe I usually like eat once a month. So
Or
I
once
don't
a
know,
week.
once a week.
Yeah.
And take in mind that for the seasoning, don't put or
Because
yeah,
because it's very high in salt.
yeah.
So eating a lot of salt over a long period of time is, is not good for your health.
So I can still have instant noodle Maggi mee masih boleh dimakan, but jarang-jarang lah kan. And then the
Yes.
perisa also have to put a bit ni lah,
Yes.
very high in salt content.
Yes, it's best is not to eat, of course, but we understand that they may not be so realistic in your lifestyle and all that. But you can make it more healthier by adding more vegetables, maybe an egg and all that. And then maybe you do not put the seasoning and all that. Then it can be a complete meal by its own.
Okay. So tambah telur and then less perisa lah. True lah.
Yes,
Okay.
and vegetables.
Alright. So there's another question from the audience as well. Does nutrition affect my IQ? Anyone would like to answer that? And yeah, and talking about IQ as well, like is there any food that will make you calmer? Oh,
Interesting.
do you have anything? I know there's not much food, but do you have anything that you can eat and say, oh, okay, now I feel so much better?
We know that nutrition is very important for brain development when you're an infant and when you're still growing. And so, right, as children and like as adults and as students right now, because your brains are almost entirely developed, there really isn't a lot that we can do. Maybe try taking, sometimes some studies have shown that fish may be beneficial, so eating more fish could possibly help. And making sure you have like adequate vitamins from eating a variety of vegetables, fruits, and grain products is also helpful. But other than that, I don't know of any magical pills to make you smarter. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Not really.
Eating everything in moderation. Again, I think that will help most of everything. Yeah.
I see, right. So it's just basically following the food pyramid lah.
Yes.
Right, okay. So yeah, how about just now we were talking about coffee, 2 cups of coffee. So there's a question asking which one is better, black coffee, like just coffee kosong, or can I add milk, sugar? Which one is a better coffee, let's say? I know you don't encourage, but I just like to drink coffee, so what do you think about that?
Is if black coffee or coffee with milk is the caffeine content is still the same.
Ah,
But when you add sugar, then you add calories, and if you add milk, real milk, what real milk will be like those low fat milk powder or UHT low fat milk and all that, and not susu pekat manis. Those are not milk. Those are just sugars and oil and fats. So you have to be careful of that. Yeah.
all right. So there's another question about how to deal with stress and nervousness. How do you deal with stress and nervousness, like especially during exam, right before exam? You were mentioning about breathing technique as well. Do you think there's any techniques that you can show?
I think there are a lot of ways to distress, and it varies between different people. But I was actually taking this health psychology class today, and they were talking about how staying positive can really help. And in the sense that when you are feeling stressed, you shouldn't be thinking, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to die. I can't. I will fail this exam." No, 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 no. But try to make yourself more positive, thinking that okay, maybe if I study harder, if I concentrate more when I'm studying, I can do well in the exam. So be more positive and like, encourage yourself. And also, you can seek for social support too, like talking to your friends or family about you being stressed, but at the same time, keep in mind that you wouldn't want to burden your friends when they are also having exams. And anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, just on the topic of breathing exercises, what I find to be really calming is just sit in a nice, comfortable, relaxed position and focus on the breath as I breathe in through my nose and then breathe into my stomach. So I feel my stomach expanding and then I feel the breath leaving my body and my stomach pushing in and it coming out of my nose again. So just really focusing on the body sensations can help me kind of reduce the anxious thoughts in my head. So that might be another good way to quickly calm yourself down and try to do that maybe for 5 or 10 breaths and then see how you feel afterwards. Hopefully you'll be more calm and ready to study or more prepared to take your exam.
I see. All right. So thanks. So the next question will be like breakfast before exam. So is there a ideal time range before I take breakfast before the exam? So do I have to like take must be 4 hours before exam or something? Yeah. Timing.
I guess usually 2 hours before will be most comfortable because if your exams start at 8, you most probably need to be at school around 7:30 the latest.
Okay.
So you do not want to wake up at 4 a.m. to eat it if it's like 4 hours. So you can wake up at 6:30, prepare yourself, get a simple breakfast, and then off to school. I think maybe 2 hours or 1 hour will be good enough.
2 hours or 1 hour,
Yes.
but it's not too heavy breakfast lah. Is it okay for me to have nasi goreng like 2 hours?
Okay, if you have to see if it's something that you have frequently and all that, I mean it's a makanan yang biasa dimakan, it will not cause any stomach discomfort and all, then you can have the food that you want to eat.
I see.
Yes.
So just ikut kebiasaan lah.
Yes.
So but it will be around 2 hours before
Yes.
the exam. Okay. So I think SMK St. John has a question. Hello. Do we have SMK St. John on?
Yes, yes, yes. Tell. Hi. I was wondering what supplements do you take to release stress?
Supplements to relieve stress.
Yes.
Do you have any supplements to relieve stress?
Like I mentioned earlier on, we do not really encourage any supplements or vitamin pills and all that. I guess for stress, it will be best to take like exercises and all because that will best reduce the stress that you'll be having.
Exercises, is it?
Yes.
Or not even snacking like fruits or that? Exercise will be better.
Yes, exercise will be better because by exercising, you will have that endorphins released to the brain, and then you will create that calm and then good feeling mood for yourself.
So, all right. So I hope that answers your question. Do you have any other questions from SMK St. John's? No? Yes? Do you have anything to add on for Kathy and Ariel?
Yeah. I guess another reason, just to add on to what Miss Shirley said, another reason that we don't want to snack if we're feeling stressed is because we don't want it to become a habit, because then that could lead to excessive energy intakes, and that's not really a good way to deal with stress either.
I see. All right. So, thank you. Yeah. So, I think SMK St. John, do you have another question?
Uh, does chocolate help with releasing stress?
The chocolate helps relieving stress.
Uh, okay, because chocolate, like I said, the good quality of chocolate, they have these antioxidants and all, but it really depends on individuals because I think there's not much studies that shows like how many you should eat, that it will release the stress and all that. So it doesn't really an evidence base to be based on. But you can have it if you think it will help reduce your stress level, but just be careful of the sugar content that I mentioned earlier on.
All right. So I hope that answers your question for SMK St. John. And adding on to the questions before that he asked for the exercise, you said that you'll increase endorphins and everything. Kathy and Ariel, so you can just add on if you want to. So how much time should I spend exercising? So just now you mentioned like a 1 minute stretching will do, but what if like you really want to get all your hormones, all the good hormones going? How much exercise should you do?
I guess 30 minutes per session will be good enough.
30 minutes?
Yes.
Half an hour?
Yes, half an hour.
Ah, okay, right. So does that must be a running thing, or can I just do light exercises for 30 minutes?
You
Or
can
is it something heavy?
no, you can do like exercises for 30 minutes.
But 30 minutes will help to get all the endorphins
Yes.
or good hormones going.
I guess as long as you move,
As long as you move.
move your body and all that, so that will take you away from whatever you are reading that create a stress environment for you. So I guess that will do.
Okay, right. So to Kathy and Ariel as well. So now I know you're still studying. So talking about healthy study environment. So what can I do if I can't find a quiet place to study? Is there anything to help me?
So if you can't find a quiet place to study, maybe try to be more creative around the timing of when you're studying. So oftentimes early mornings can be a nice quiet place to study, a nice quiet time to study because a lot of people aren't awake yet. You may be able to find some quiet spots that are usually more noisy. For example, before, after school perhaps might be an option. Or if your home is too noisy, maybe try looking into a library or maybe a friend's house as well. Yeah, so I think those are my tips. And what I found interesting when I was looking into this is I found that if you switch the places where you study, you can actually remember more information later on. So by switching, say from you're studying at home and then studying at a friend's place and at different places, it can actually help you remember more. So I think that's a really cool trick that you can try to use to see if it helps.
I see. Right. So timing and also like really knowing your places. So you cannot find anything at home, just get out of the house then. So maybe you public library will do as well. Yeah. Different house, public library. All right. So just another question from an audience. My mom kept feeding me fruits, bobohan before exam. Is it really healthy? A lot of fruits. Yeah.
Okay, eating fruits are part of a healthy, balanced diet. So you should. Maybe your mom thinks that you have been not eating enough fruits and or vegetables at that time. So maybe that's why she keep feeding you fruits before the exams. But as we know, fruits have a lot of vitamin C and all. It will actually boost up your immune system. You do not get flu or sick that much easy. So maybe that's the purpose why your mom is doing that.
I see. Right. Do you have anything to add on for Kathy and Ariel about fruits?
But then again, I think if you are having like too much fruit, such as like bananas if you eat too much. For me, from my experience, you might get stomach problems. So you want to be careful, and also if you're having a lot of fruits, try to be consistent. Don't be like you're having a lot of fruits and after your exam you suddenly decrease your fruit intake.
Oh, okay.
Might not be well, you might get like scurvy, like rebound scurvy.
Oh,
with it, yeah. But just be consistent. Like if you're having fruit, then yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like what you guys mentioned, what you girls mentioned before lah. So if you need to, also adjust slowly lah. Not too much fruits, yeah, but and then don't suddenly stop as well. So just keep it consistent and then adjust slowly lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So, but your mom has a point. Feeding you fruits. Fruits are very healthy food. All right. So yeah, we are coming to an end already. So before we leave, would you like to give like our last diet and well-being advice, Kathy and Ariel?
Sure, I can start. So I think during exam time, it's important to keep in mind the bigger picture, which is yes, exams are very important. And just to remember that how you're feeling, your emotions, and your physical well-being during this time matter a lot as well. In addition to the exam results, so make sure to take care of your whole body, and your body will take care of you, and you'll be able to do better on the exams as a result.
And just know that you are not in this alone. A lot of people are having exams too, so we can all work hard together. And if you are feeling really stressed and you need help, don't feel don't be afraid to reach out for help and like seek for support. And yeah, that's the thing I want.
All right. So what about Miss Shirley?
Okay, just want to stress one thing that you should eat everything, but in moderation. There are no really magic pills or magic food that you should or shouldn't eat right before exam and all that, but you should eat everything in moderation. Okay, for students that would like to get more information on nutrition, you can go to our website mynutri.moh.gov.my, or you can download our Nutri apps.
Oh.
Okay, go to Google Store and click on the icon My Nutri apps, and you can download. You can get the nutrition information that you need there.
I see. So that is My Nutri, MYNUTRI. All right. So check that out. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us in the session today. We hope you have already received a lot of good tips on how to maintain your diet and also your well-being going towards SPM. I know you guys are working really hard on that. So yeah, so do send us your feedback for this session through the link bit.ly/FCC Reflection. So kepada sekolah yang baru join kita, thank you very much, terima kasih. Dan sila berikan maklum balas anda melalui link bit.ly/FCC Reflection. Huruf besar FCC. Thank you very much. And do join us for our session tomorrow talking about study tips from excellent students who scored straight A's during the SPM. And we will also have Guru Chimala next week talking to us about how to answer the Bahasa Melayu paper, English, Mathematics, and also Sejarah. Check out our Frog Revised sites as well, right on the Frog Store right now. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you very much. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.